sword are broken, the staff of the wicked.
Yeah, the staff of the wicked is pride. Okay? Go ahead.
And the scepter of the rulers.
Yep.
And their rulership is coming to an end. Their power, so there's no throne for him as a city not changed. Right? Sitting in the dust, no words of matter of Babylon. Spiritually speaking, see the dust, the confusion that's in this place. Right? And then physically it's going to happen as well when the Lord makes this place even with the ground, turn this place to a damn desert.
Yeah, and even him being knocked out of rulership, sit on the ground is in the lower state. You know, so it's a trading of places that's about to take place, man.
Right.
You know?
It says, he who spoke to people in wrath with a continual stroke.
And he's been doing that to the nations. He's been doing that to the Ishmael, Ham, Ammon, the big bully.
Well, he was on that, just to go back, he was on that, like you said, you mentioned at the beginning of the time, well, he was on that during Cain. You know, when you read in the book of Josephus highlighted the influence of Cain's descendants before the flood came, man. And how he influenced murder, he influenced thievery, wickedness, you know, immorality, man, selfishness, you know, just what it says in Timothy, in the last days, men should be lovers of themselves, boasters, blasphemers. That's how men was before the flood through the influence of Cain in the earth. And it's reshaped itself, for lack of a better word, in today's time through Esau's rulership, man. This is how we know Esau is Cain, man. You know?
And he said, you up your father the devil. But when Cain said, this part that he couldn't bear, every man was true.
Right.
Well, every man is out to slay him right now. He didn't go to the world. He didn't go to God.
All these filthy protesters, you know, they think the protest mainly the white woman. Yep. With the sign, walking. She's the main one protesting against this nigga, man.
What she's really protesting against right? I got a video of that.
We get on camera, so I'm gonna check out like that.
It's a whole population.
What are you charging here?
And what they complain about is that they won't let so their concern is a major concern. Right? And then these folks people, they said,
Where you at? Where you at?
why their conversation is always about black people. He's like, what the fuck is going on? What's wrong with it? Right? And then if you did that, they always try to, you know, it's like, I would do that. You know, he's like, right. But, you know, and some of them are all that always what you feel anybody right? So there really is hatred and jealousy. Real peace that even and they're women really are. So you saw the women.
Isaiah 14:6, he who spoke to people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger.
Hey, it's something called the economic weakness, where they use their military, CIA agents to go into the country and rule their way to their country. And if you don't go by all rules and regulations like democracy, out of nowhere, there's an upkeep, there's an uprising in the country. That's in the protocols of Grand Society. It says that they start upheavals at will. Upheaval is insurrection.
Unalive this person, unalive this person, they'll start things to set it up to create people, to create
and then they'll get on the propaganda media.
I gotta go there.
And then they'll show images of so-called other nations protesting in their own country. But those motherfucking Americans dressed up. You know what I'm saying? Dressed up as playing a part. And then they'll get on the interviews that when these people are how they say, these people are tired of their regime, these people are tired of their country, they're being mistreated, they're being killed off. No, that be Esau snake ass one of them. You know? And now the nation has found that out.
Yeah, and it's been so much time. Not to go Syria and the Syrians. They were destroying all those these relics from 3,000, 4,000 years ago. And now I'm like, the Arabs told them, what they really want is Israelis, IDF. It turns out that the majority of ICE in Chicago actually IDF, by the way. Okay? And that, with those Israelis with the big beards dressed up in Arab garb, they were destroying those relics, they were destroying those things that were legitimate. Why? Because those relics, that's what we're talking about Psalms 85 and 11. Those relics reveal true history. They reveal, an image, a relic or image from the time period to tell you so much more than what the written text will. Because they'll lie in the text, right? They'll lie in the text, and you read the text, you're looking at the image, it's like, no, exactly, right?
You got it.
It says, he that ruled the nations in anger is merciful, and none hinder it. Who gonna stop it? Who gonna stop this devil from going down? Who gonna stop YAHAWASHI from bringing this devil down?
Right.
Alright, it said who can turn away the hungry lion in the wood? Alright, the hungry lion being the lion of Judah, who the word we call Jesus, his real name being YAHAWASHI. Who gonna stop him, man? Alright, it says that how they set shepherds against the lion, and they weren't able to Verse 7, the whole earth is at rest, and it's quiet.
Jump. Man, you gotta understand, he jumped to the inside. When this devil gets taken out, that's when the whole earth is going to be at rest.
Finally have peace on the earth. Because right now it's in chaos and rumors. And all of this freakiness is walking around, man. Homosexuality is outrage. And you got pedophilia and outrage.
Now, science said Peter the chief. Right? He said Peter the chief. That's exactly why you think that one of the reasons why they went to war in the first place was to get the spotlight off of the Epstein file. And they called it Operation Epstein. The world is calling it Operation Epstein. And everyone knew why they did it. All right? And guess what? They're not talking about that.
And it's more.
That was exactly what they wanted.
And it's more that's going on outside of that. Dr. Fauci, he's in part two. And he just got indicted. So this right here is blanket of all of that, and then you make the report. And the oil, everybody, a lot of these countries now are coming saying, hey, I'm not 30 or 4 days in reserve. I don't want to do something. This is getting everybody into this war. Like, once it looks in the jaws, this looks, it's all it looks like.
It says the whole earth is at rest. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon sang, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us.
The feather is the true one. All right? Esau, he's that true feather. And the tree is literally it. And symbolically, the tree is going to be well, but also
What's going on? Dropped on me. Oh, my bad. Yeah, hold on.
If there was a world people, the whole world should be going to Israel and learn the law. Started coming out of Israel and doing all type of wickedness in that whole land. Learn about oral circumcision.
where's loyal in the Bible?
It says, hell from beneath is food for thee to meet thee at thy coming.
That hell is destruction. Okay? Death. Death is coming to Babylon the Great. All right?
And that hell is conditioned to the nation. You know, it's going to start off with continual employment. It's never been put in bed. You know, and then 1,000 years of law or servitude. Right. His hand in the water.
He didn't get his hand in all that to get what's in the kingdom. So hell is coming.
Before the affliction. It stirred up the dead for thee.
It stirred up the death. The dead is talking about the other nations. So the dead is getting stirred up. All right? The scripture says the Lord must up the host of the battle. So all these nations is at that point where they're getting pissed off and they're tired of Babylon the Great. All right? And eventually, we hope soon the spirit that those missiles don't fly. All right? That's the end all be all of all this. The end of all this is happening is thorough nuclear destruction.
You gotta get burned up and leave it put in there. It's so dirty. Everything is defiled, man. Everything you touch. First of all, you got females walking around on the street. The defiled in the earth. Blood defiled in the earth. Everything is defiled here because of this death, man. And we allow this. We always pushing those all of that, man. It's out of order. The abomination they eat, you know, they don't give a care about what they do, man. They just go keep on with it.
The sock is coming open. The sock is coming out the house. There's fucking loving the goddamn beer. Yeah.
You gotta keep it laughing away from the body too, man. It says, it stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth.
Even all the chief ones of the earth.
Yep. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
Separation from Gaza, you see the reports of Ezekiel 38, all right? Russia, Persia, you know? Yeah. It's prophecy. If you understand, he didn't have to get everybody doesn't understand what's going on.
Because another big thing is shut down the Straits of Hormuz. That's serious. That's not easy. That's big chest. That's not only.
Next is Europe, which makes Europe pissed at America. America don't need that trade. They don't need that trade. And they just robbed them with slavery. What it does,
They don't need that strength. Yet they were pimping everybody for the
exactly.
And that's another thing that they should see.
It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as weak as we? Hey, look, George Bush would have never allowed the Philippines to talk shit about America, to threaten America. They would have sent the economic hitman. They would have did something, man. This shit became solved.
Give me that.
They said, we're not this is for us. Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave.
That's why it's a term called man. Assured destruction. So if one nuke fly all these things. So that keeps Esau in
They got a system that detects ICBMs. If one go off and they detect the trajectory of it, automatically the system is already set up. You don't need the president to push the button. They gonna go automatically. They gonna shoot automatically. So if any nation push the button, it don't matter. It's gonna they gonna shoot. They gonna reach. They gonna shoot wherever it was shot. It's automatic.
I said it on that. Well, yeah. That's it on that. We asked you that question. You got a question for me?
That was a transgression, but which I should choose to transgress. Man, curse. Right? Which is possible that she was reincarnated to be forgiven for her transgression of God when she came back as one that the premises heart to the outside adulterous that comes down now. I'm just wondering because I've heard people say that Adam is reincarnated. So I'm thinking about what about his wife?
Everybody was
Right? You know, saying you're right. You walk in the name of YAHAWASHI, it's got left hand. If you was sincere. But it ain't happening. Even if you bloody and rain, you know, the Lord is saving you from suffering. But definitely
Stephen got stoned. And in the midst of his stoning, he seen the heavens open up. And he was at peace and saying,
so what's that telling you about time? It's telling you he didn't finish it.
he was comfortable.
Yeah. In the midst of his dying, the Lord took his spirit. So they were just, his body, he was gone.
He was gone. When I first thought he was already
His body, they were just battling his body. He was dead.
funny. When I was a young man, I got drunk. And by the time I got drunk, people might not be ready. The Lord said he's going to take me with gas care when he's left. And let me go back up what you said, this is Sarah. And said, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord in the midst of the trouble? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did ever he despise and call the Lord's good? The Lord is full of compassion, mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgive the sins and save the
Oh, yeah, come.
Ask you a question. Ask you a question. Like even if you facing certain death, all right, you gotta like the scripture say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time, and strength of our salvation. So you think of these stories and you think of that play before us, and then that came before us, and shall gather the blood. You go affliction, you go trial, and you again when you before you. And you like, well, I ain't never do that, right? And the Lord fought for me. So if you're looking at death, you might be looking at it, but that don't mean that's what you're finna go through. Right? The 300 sons, because they got through infirmity, did they not? Did they die? Right. The Lord stepped in.
So, to be honest, that's where you need to be at. Real quick, I want to get to Colossians 2:6. It says, as ye have therefore received of my YAHAWASHI, the Lord, so walk ye in him. Rooted and built up in him.
Hey.
So we're at the point where we got to build ourselves up. Because the Lord is building our God. It's not easy to go because of hard shit. Go through fire. About straight, which means it's a place of difference. So you want to get yourself built up in the faith of YAHAWASHI to be able to stand the time that's going to come. So we were just speaking about World War III and all that plays into the part of prophecy of us getting the book of life.
Once World War III comes, you gotta understand it's going to be going on. Once World War III goes
World War
live,
III is here.
yeah, it's going on now.
It's not going to come. It's already here.
Right.
But it's when it becomes, or when it's, when it gets so bad to where it starts, and it's affecting, but when it starts affecting, you're moving and traveling around.
Yeah,
and then that trial.
And just raise the age to 42.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do is they're trying to grab back veterans, especially combat. Yeah, if you were in the military and you had a combat MOS and you are 42 years or younger, right? They're gonna try to take you and make you patrol. They probably gonna try to promote you, give you back your own rank, and then bump you up too. Right? You was a sergeant, they're gonna try to make you a gunnery sergeant. Right?
Bring you out of retirement.
Just the day. So they're going to try to do that. And then it makes sense from their side. Why would I want to bring in a whole batch of new recruits And I can get guys that already know the lingo and they come back, everything, they'll just snap right back. Remember, you know, they'll understand they'll understand the formations, you know, where you got a guy who ran through, you know. Right.
They saying that in their country called, it was veterans, but they decorated, they jackets back.
Yeah.
They was put their
Well, a lot of veterans said that we never taken our sons. And they said, you know, I said a lot of Edomites said you're not taking our sons. Right? So it's gonna get bad out here. You're gonna have some of these dads that's gonna, you know, go find their M14, their M16, or whatever fucking hell they got. And they gonna become a problem. And that's regular scripture. That's the second, that's the 15, 16 chapter all about.
I'm just finishing this. It says, rooted and built up in him, established in faith, as ye have been taught. So you gotta find who the teacher is. You're from the great millstone, stick with GMS. Don't go to nobody else. Alright? You gotta spit out 2 people.
Yeah, because clearly while you asking that question, you said something about what somebody said. You listening to somebody else. Don't stop listening.
right.
If they're not backing up, look, if there's not 3 or 4 precepts to back up what they're saying, then they're not telling you the truth. Anything that we say, we're going to have 3 to 4 precepts or more to clarify that. All right? And so, are they, you have to ask yourself, is this precept, but they say something, so first word is there's a couple of precepts in there. That way, you know, when the Bible, you go to 3 or 4 other places, and it says the same thing, it lines up with the statements that they made, and that's going to be doctrine. Then you can, okay, all right. But if they don't, if you ask, they say something, and you like, man, bro, can you give me precepts on that? And they can't, then don't, you know,
Science.
right, you know, don't deal with them, talk to them, they're going to sit around.
It's Isaiah 30 and 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
That sounds like someone said. Someone that said that sounds like they don't get off the highway to God. It sounds like they don't care. It sounds like shit they said on Facebook.
Yeah, the Facebook and Instagram, TikTok prophets, Instagram prophets, right? And haven't stood on no corner, no chief conference, anywhere, together. And now they throwing the bomb, throwing the beach wrong, come on. Right. Or they just put on the Facebook, you know, it matches whatever crazy they have in the garage, right? And start, you know, teaching. And they be going, they just going on.
Just wing it.
Bring it out.
First Timothy chapter 2. First Corinthians chapter 2. First Corinthians chapter 2 and 2. This is Paul speaking. He says, I started 1. It says, and I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of the Most High.
So those are big ass words. You know, trying to teach you with the big words and all that.
It is deep knowledge, it's deep mysteries.
It's not, it ain't that.
Verse 2, this is the point.
I remember watching a video, right? Maybe it's like about 2012, right? And the song said how he used to be a rapper. He failed as a rapper, right? Matter of fact, I remember his rapper name was Delirious.
God is delirious.
That shit crazy.
So,
He's still delirious.
right, he's still delirious. But I remember him saying how he would just read, he would read encyclopedia dictionary just to learn new words so he can regurgitate those words when he's teaching. Because it can't be correct. Because then it sounds so you can recall, you know, you learn big words and then you start using those words and then you just build on the add up to your vocabulary until you really understand scripture.
It's
point, it says, "For I determined not to know anything among you, save YAHAWASHI HaMashiach and Him crucified."
Right, so that's what matters. Right? Understand that Yahawashi came, he died for our sins, right, for the elect. And then we have an opportunity to return going back to she sinned, did she not? Right. That's simple, bro. Like we all sin, like you say, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of
Even the
God.
two words, you know, it's just that they have to down inside because it's ordained.
Right.
That's the only thing. But his death redeemed them as well. They just, you know, they just two birds. They got to go through what, you know, that's their lot.
Second death.
And the water, you know, what how represent is none of our lives, right? But their lot is already sealed.
Right.
But the flip side of the coin is that yes, they do. I got one of my closest friends, and that told me that. He, you know, I'm trying, you know, I'm getting on him. You know, I really bother him no more.
Basically, the same thing.
But I'm getting on him, but he was like, you know, because we argued with a couple of other our friends, and then he was like, hold on. He said, I never said I didn't believe it. He said, I believe everything you said. But he said, I also believe that I'm getting the kingdom anyway. So, is he still chewing on that pork? I'm going to eat this shit anyway. This shit good. That was it. He was like, why I got to change? I'm going to get the kingdom. And I'm like, I'm just looking at this nigga.
But niggas feeling real.
But he's going to go with
And then he turned around and man, I'm excited to see all this shit you're talking about. I'm ready for this shit. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, bro, wait.
You ain't ready.
You ain't ready for
They
this.
don't know what they ask. They don't know.
I know this ain't steak, but
Yeah.
make me rich.
Pretty much. And that's it. And then, you know, he wanted, matter of fact, he out Colorado right now. His job got him out there. So, you know, they policy. He like, yeah, he can go, you know, now, that's back now. He'll make it. But he's going to Thailand for 3 months. He was there, he was looking good, bro. So he was like, you know what, man, I gotta go out there instead of the cold shoot. I'm already getting it, right? And I'm like,
I was saying, the army like police, man, they hurt me.
the first time, the nigga that actually breathes and believes, but so comfortable, like, comfortable. Now he's miserable, he's sick, he's in pain. He's like, he just lost his baby brother. His younger brother just died.
He playing.
Right?
Well, play. Scripture say, we heard that too on Roosevelt. Well, I'm gonna get the kingdom anyways, right? Right, so Jake don't understand what comes with that. When Abba himself, when the Father tells you you're gonna die by pain, when he tells you you're gonna die by pain, you should really consider that statement.
Yeah, as much as I hate the 2/3, you know, I hate it. But at the same time, I'm glad they're out because that just makes our chances that much better. They're not going to keep the Shabbat. They're not going to try to keep the Passover. You know, they're not going to say no when they find wrong. They know they're not bad. They go, right, exactly.
Yep. What you just said, that's the important.
But it's also prophecy being fulfilled that the 2/3 going to be the 2/3 and do. He said the wicked will do wicked. So that's your both your faith. Everything we're seeing prophecy in real time play out in real time every day. A new prophecy is being revealed every second, every day. Message.
And you know what? The weird thing is that the heathen collectively are angry. And Jake not. You know what? Jake is so used to struggling anyway. That's the thing. They condition. They condition for the struggle. But and they laughing at Esau watching them. But they don't understand. You know what they. But flip side of the coin is that Esau gets it. He like, man, he trying to tell his black friend, nigga, we about to be fucked up. His black friend like, nigga, I've been fucked up. And he like, no, you don't get it. He's like, I don't get it. And I'm like, no, you don't, man. Listen to your white boyfriend. Because you have no idea what's about to happen.
See him get scared.
Right?
Everything, all of my life, all of our heard Esau, all around, man, it was, America got the greatest army, nobody would take America down, America's the greatest country ever, everything was great. I ain't heard that you don't take it. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And it goes back to this women, they're leaving there even like this, because they're asking them, what are you going to do if they come mess with us? We're just going to conform and do whatever they say. They said, no, we ain't cool with it. They're trying to find, which is still fucked up, because the woman going to be fucked up no matter what. He's going to have a man with a woman.
Well, and if she an actual leader, she's fucked up. I mean, all she did was come to speak. She can't get on the chair. Even though if you please well with us, she still can't get on the chair. Like, you're right, you gotta leave and be like, hey, man, got something on the side. Ain't nothing I can do for you.
Oh, look at that out.
Pray and be quick. Pray and be quick.
Exactly. I pray and be quick.
I see you. I got you.
And I look at you.
Hey, yeah.
She can't, right, she can't get on the chair. Whatever the evil might be. All right? You got your badass, you know, Moabite, Ammonite, you know, badass, Edomite, whatever, man. She can't get on the chariot.
Right, because
There ain't nothing you can do.
the scripture say that it's corruptible. When you go into the chariots, you're going to be changed. Only the Israelites get changed.
Exactly.
The only time they will ever see evolution happen
First
will be among the Israelites.
50 through 55.
Right.
That evolution, that instant evolution that Esau always talking about.
Right.
All right, and all of a sudden niggas can fly.
Who's big as hell?
You talk to a nigga, he a high damn L track looking down at you. Right? All of a sudden, you know? That's not gonna happen.
In their face.
That's only, and it's literally, it's a strangeness of their salvation. It's strangeness of their salvation.
That's the Bible, you know. You know, which is only promised to the children of Israel. You read that in Jeremiah 31, Hebrews 8, you know, Ezekiel 11 to Ezekiel 36.
Right, so the heathen's not going to inherit that. So they cannot get on the ships. They're not genetically capable. Let's put it like that, because they don't come through the bloodline.
No.
All right.
They gonna find that out.
Yep.
And they got a lot to pay for.
And they got
Yeah.
too much to pay for it.
We're paying for our
Even the ones who scream it out, well, my family member was saying, we never did that in our lifetime. Trust me.
That's like I talked.
And yet, he benefited from the rape, robbery, and murder.
right now.
So, and you still benefit.
I talked to an Ishmaelite. He owned a liquor store. At my job, me and a couple co-workers, we go to the liquor store every Friday. Friday we go hang out. About 30 minutes to an hour. And we know we cool with him. He Ishmael. He's like, oh no, I'm African. I'm African. But I heard him talk shit about Issachar, talk shit about Jacob. And I finally said something. I said, no, man. Because behind those doors, you talk shit about my people. I said, you're not African. You just got put there, right? But, you know, I went into history. I said, you just got put there. But you're an Israelite, right? I said, I said, you call us niggas behind closed doors? He said, yeah. But there's no disrespect. I say, no, it's all disrespect. Because for the simple fact you're talking down to us, like we're beneath you, and we're above you. I say, ask your grandfather.
thus started the transatlantic slave trade 100 years before 16.
Right, because they were still in the Northern Kingdom to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
Yep. Yep. Seville, Spain became the reverse slave capital.
And they were doing that to other Yadites here too. Pocahontas and some. She wasn't the only one they took over there.
And when you read the story of her, it's a very tragic story. They made a cartoon. And when I learned that really aggravated me when I learned it, but I learned a lesson. But it turned out that in Pocahontas, somebody but Pocahontas was only 14 years old. And she had a husband. They don't tell you that part either. She wasn't a virgin. All right, she was a virgin and she was still young enough to be married and have children. But she wasn't a virgin. The virgin of the meaning of being untouched. You know, you got what the water. Right? And that's the difference between the two. All right? Both are still able to have children. Right? But one is untouched and one may not. All right? So they killed her husband. Okay? They murdered her husband, John Smith. I don't know if John Smith murdered her, but the husband was murdered. And so was her first child. Right? And then John Smith took her, was pregnant, he forced himself on her. Then he took her back to and then she ended up dying young. She didn't even grow old, right? Depression? Yeah, depression. She died very young. And that's the true story of Pocahontas. Because they glorified it like it was this grand fella love story.
Just around the river,
man. Spinning around in the flowers and shit. You know? No, man, this dude was a murdering, racist piece of shit. Right? And he sees these young girls. Right? And like I got one of my friends sent me a thing picture of two men. And see, one was Christian, two men holding a little girl hand. It said Christian and his daughter. Then it said Muslim and his wife. I was like, yeah, you know, trying to find, like, and I'm like, man, with all the pedophilia that's going on with white Christians, males especially, you know, there's always a bunch of numbers, a bunch of freaking in Christianity. Okay? Nothing but a bunch of false prophets and a bunch of, you know, leaders. Okay? Every other day, it's some freaking going on.
Paying somebody else.
Right.
Somebody else.
Exactly.
Some boys.
And they ain't say nothing about the J-ish. Okay? But you know, trying to put it up, you know, trying to create that narrative that the Muslims are the problem. No, man. This war was started with Muslims to hide and protect white male Christians here in America. We here at Great Millstone, we ain't letting that Epstein bullshit go. All right?
And they ain't telling you that Christian was molesting his daughter.
Exactly. So, you know, and there's no religion that has shed more blood on this planet than Christians. And to mate with that, because it was in Esau, Edom, that bloodshed, that violent man, right? And then there's no other people outside of the Edomites that shed more blood on this planet. And it just so happens that the majority of Edomites happen to be Christians, Judeo-Christians.
Hey,
All right? And there's no group of people or religion in the history of mankind. Matter of fact, when I walked up, the brothers were talking about the UN voting that the transatlantic slave trade was the most inhumane and wicked thing that ever happened in the history of mankind. All right? But guess who was the number one perpetrator of that? Judeo-white Christian males.
U.S. didn't show up.
Right?
The U.S. didn't show up.
So that's saying again. Who were the perpetrators of that? Judeo-Christian white males. They were the ones who were responsible for the most heinous act, the most malicious act, the most inhumane act in human history. They were responsible. That's why 3 of their nations voted no. And the ones who were absent from it they voted no too. Most of them, right? And then and most of the ones who said the majority of those who refused to vote, they were absent from the vote, they were also people who benefited from the trade of the slaves.
And it's going to be found out, which we're telling you. But these people going to find out that they knew exactly who they were doing that to.
Yeah.
Which makes it worse, man.
That's why they don't want to, that's why the Jewish, the Jewish, and the Judeo-Christian in America, and the other Jews here in America didn't want to admit to it. Exactly what you said. Can we get that Exodus 21?
Exodus 21 and 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, if he wants to Hebrew hand is Yah, which means power. Right? If he be found in his power, he shall surely be put to death.
There's no other remedy. The only remedy is death. And then when during the slave trade, they spent a tremendous amount of blood. So what is Numbers 33 and 35 say? 35. Yeah. Get that one.
And what it says in Revelation, how she was drunk with the blood of the saints. You know?
Get it. Get it.
Is that Numbers 35 and 33? So shall ye not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood can defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of them that shed it.
That's it. No other way. All right? Those who shed all that blood, this blood has to be shed. There is no saying I'm sorry. That's not, hey, I apologize for what I didn't know. Your blood, you have to bleed. That's what the Bible says. Good Judeo-Christian, right? Read what the book says.
There's another one, go down back as well, in the book of Jeremiah. It says, my blood shall be on the Chaldeans, shall Israel say. You know? So these devils got to pay, man. What y'all got?
This is Revelation 17 and 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of YAHAWASHI.
That woman is America. That same hole that set on the beast. And now the beast is turning. All right? The beast is going to eat her like Jezebel got ate by the dogs. All right?
And with the blood of the martyrs of YAHAWASHI. And when I saw her, I wondered with admiration. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. Man, you're not supposed to marvel off of this place, man. Alright? You're not supposed to be moved off of this bitch. Especially now. Look at this bitch now, man.
I'm marveling off his phone.
Yeah, right.
We can walk. Look, stands is gone. All right. We can walk a mile that way, a mile that way, all right? A mile that way, especially going up and down Clark Street. Clark Street was, and State Street, those two streets, it was nothing but commerce, man. Nothing but commerce. You walk down that street, you walk down Clark, and all you see is closed businesses, closed restaurants, closed bars, closed stores, closed. Same thing if you go up, if you walk up Wabash right, all right? You start walking up Wabash, all right? And you get all the way up to Jewelers Road. It's nothing but abandoned buildings, empty properties, all right? Now, see, but look, people came up and say, man, you would think you was in that house. There was so many people. You had to hold your mama's hand because you get lost in the crowd. You short, so you can't see shit. All you see is feet. All right? I mean, literally, the way we stand like this is how the sidewalk is. Because you on both sides of the sidewalk, everywhere you went. There was that many people there. There was a bus on it. There was traffic. And now that is a place. Yeah. The stores everywhere too.
of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
Wait a minute. That's been the scriptures that are looking up to regeneration. It just said that the blood of saints were found in Babylon. What is that? Right. Read it again.
Revelation chapter 18 and 24. And in her was found the blood of prophets.
So I gotta add that to my regeneration perception. All right. Now, man. So the saints and the prophets. Wait, huh? What? Their blood. How we got
so it ain't no more coming back into this flesh. Whatever flesh we in right now, this it, man.
Go ahead,
so we don't get another chance. Go ahead. So give diligence to make our call and election sure now. Because there's immortality after this, man.
That's me. Like my knucklehead friend, all right? He's going to have a good life on the other side, blah, 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 blah. But there, the Lord's elect. It's levels. All right? It's levels to the stuff. All right? So on the other side, YAHAWASHI break open that one and call for his elect. Yeah. All right? That's going to be a whole bunch of people that's on the outside of that. Yep. Okay? They're going to be on the outside of that. And they're going to wish they had listened. Right? Because the Lord going to be like, all Israel, glittering everybody together, calling and music, and everything good. YAHAWASHI going to show up, right? The elect going to show up, crowd's going wild. King David gonna show up, the crowd going wild. YAHAWASHI gonna show up, the crowd gonna go nuts. All right, and then they gonna mingle among the people, and then the Lord gonna call for this next thing. All right, then only his elect. Everybody else.
Hey,
you gotta go home.
Can't sit here.
Right. It's like a badass kid. When all the other kids think he can't get in trouble because you don't get to go. You in that one. And I don't want to be that kid. But everybody else going to be the daddy. I'm the only one standing there.
What they finna go do,
right.
but you know it's about to be mighty.
And then you can't have a part of it.
Right? When he saw all the regular elect, the regular Israelites, they were all beautiful and everything, but then when they saw one elect, they all stopped and all pointed up and
he's one of them.
Even right. I remember that.
He's one of them.
He's one of them. And these are the Israelites. All right? They were saying that. Wow. So what the heathen want to say?
We'll have done great things for them.
Wow.
This has Moses had the light, ain't no regular. If we was go out there, they would have to bail us up, and we would have to tone it down. And they would not be Yes, sir, take another ride. Do the rotary.
And once in the door, what's the brother's name? Yeah, he reminded me he was out. But yeah, when he stood on that bridge with that big sword and his eyes lit up and all the light, I was like, man, that's the problem. Yeah. That's gonna be us, man. We ain't gonna be like regular people.
He was the one that could see all this.
He had the power. He
seed.
No, I just said it for record. Right. The Lord said you got the cars, you got Ferrari, you got Eleanor, y'all know Eleanor, right? You got Eleanor, you got the that damn.
That's going to 60 seconds, right?
Yeah, that 67 Mustang. You got that Dodge Charger that in the first Fast and Furious, right? Then you got a Ford Pinto. Right? You were right, you don't want to be one of these?
Lord, that's Lord.
Right. No, I just want something to run, bro.
Ford Fiesta.
Really, nigga? Right. You go. You know? Bring it out, brother. We gonna get ready back.
This is Isaiah 61:9. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord hath blessed. Now that starts also amongst the other nations. It's going to be clear difference between the Israelite and the heathen. So even all this talk about heathen nations and everything like that, like, look, it's going to be very evident. But then on top of that, there's going to be a greater separation between the elect and then Israel. And it says in the book of Daniel, 12th chapter, those that turn many to righteousness shall shine like the stars in the heaven.
What's the definition of first fruits? You go into that definition and it says those that are superior who are of the same class. So we all Israelites, but there are ones that are superior than the rest of it. You know?
It talks about those that are going to be greatness. So it's showing you a double. They're going to both be in the kingdom. 2/3, and he's going to eventually be in the kingdom. All right, you know? But once again, it's going to be levels.
Really understand low level. All right? You know, how a kid has a toy box. Most kids love all their toys. All right? You know, they'll pull every toy out of their toy box. You know, and it's just toys all over the game. Trying to hold on to it and get the bed with. All the other toys went back in the toy box. Well, we're that special toy, man, that little kids don't want to let go of.
You look around and tired, they don't make nothing.
All right? Yeah, come. So, and that's what it is. That's what it is. You know? Predestinated, punching like 5, and then jumped out like first round.
It's Ephesians chapter 1, verse, I start at verse 4. According as, hold on, one. Okay, Ephesians 1:1. Paul, an apostle of YAHAWASHI HaMashiach, by the will of Yahweh, to the saints which are at Ephesus,
Right, to the Israelites, not other people in Ephesus.
And to the faithful in YAHAWASHI HaMashiach.
Those that believe, Israelites.
Grace be to you and peace from our God, our power.
Our,
Yeah.
personal pronoun, right? Personal pronoun. Okay.
Our Father, and from the Lord YAHAWASHI HaMashiach. Blessed be the power and Father of our Lord YAHAWASHI.
Again, our Lord. Not everybody. Saints. Subject matter here is the saints and the believers. One and the same.
Who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings.
Right? Bless us. Didn't say everyone else. Read.
In heavenly places in Mashiach. According as he hath chosen us.
Us again. Read.
In him before the foundation of the world.
So before the foundation of the world was created, the elect were chosen. You see, that's another thing. So they mentioned we were there in the beginning of creation. Right? That could go into a whole other lesson. Right? We go out to we go out to we go back to the beginning. Right? And in the beginning, the powers. That was the powers that were with the Lord. Yahweh created Yahawashi, first spirit. then YAHAWASHI created the elect. And then the elect along with YAHAWASHI created everyone and everything else. Everything you see here, he can't have that. Everything you can see, hear, touch, and feel. Right? The elect created that. Go ahead.
It says, according as he hath chosen us in him.
So he chose us in him himself, him in YAHAWASHI.
Before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestinated us.
And there it is, predestinated, man. It was already foretold in the beginning that whatever we had to go through, all right, it's like, son, you're going to go through holy hell, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. But at the end of that, just like Matt pointed out, you will. All right? And now, finally, we at that place now.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
This is it.
We here.
That when this flesh is gone, all right, hey, we coming back special. Right? Go ahead, brother.
Having predestinated us unto the adoption of
You
children.
can only be adopted back after lifetime, after lifetime, after lifetime, after lifetime. You can only be adopted to something that you weren't part of. Right?
By Yahawashi to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will.
There it is, man. We can stop right there. According to the good pleasure of his will. So it's all about Israel. Right? So with that, we're going to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahawashi, Ba'Shem, Crocodiles.
Kwam Yasharal.
Kwam Yasharal.
Abba Baba.
Abba Baba.